Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. And the British and Irish Lions have just handed their JOBURG namesake a hiding. 56 points to 14 was the final score in Johannesburg. The perfect start for the tourists and for the Sigma Lions. You know, a big learning curve. But at the end of the day, you know, as a Lions fan, you can see wearing the jersey. As a Lions fan, I'm not going to dig deep into that performance. I'm not going to sit there and moan and complain. Because at the end of the day, we are I'm very aware of where the Sigma Lions, the Johannesburg Lions are within their setup. And what we've got is a very young side that are supposed to be one for the future. You know, and at the end of the day, 23 test match players arrived and showed why they were test match players. Josh Adams with 4 tries today, a massive, monumental physical contest. And they were just outclassed. But I mean, it's kind of what you expect. I mean, it's one of these sort of tours where the British and Irish Lions are expected to put in big defeats against all the provincial unions. At the end of the day, it's the best players across 4 countries taking on provincial unions. And it's provincial unions in South Africa where a lot of our best players are actually playing overseas. So it's weekend provincial unions. So, you know, to bear that in mind, I think that there were positives. What my frustration is, I think, is that there were some easy tries conceded and that the scoreline could have been a lot better if there was just a couple of one-on-one tackles made. Before you break down the game itself and sort of go through what happened and look at some of the best performances and some of the stats, please do smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. But in terms of how the game unfolded, it was off to the perfect start for the British and Irish Lions. And I actually thought we were in for a very long day because Louis Rees-Zammit crossed the white in the 3rd minute before Hamish Watson crossed in the 7th minute. First try was just very well worked. A lot of carries in the middle, creating some space out wide, going out wide, chip over the top. Louis Rees-Zammit had all the pace in the world, get away from McLaren. And then Hamish Watson scored a try, and all it was a missed tackle by PJ Burta of the Lions. It was one-on-one tackling, and he got away from him and went over. And then Ali, but after that, you know, in the 8th minute, it was 14-0, and I'm thinking, here we go. You know, last time we saw 72 points. But after that, the Sigma Lions decided that actually, you know what, we're actually going to play a bit of rugby. They got themselves into British and Irish Lions territory, and they camped out on the try, and they actually made some very big calls. I mean, they got a penalty, and they decided to take a scrum on the 5-meter line. You know, that's a sign of confidence to be able to say against a fully test-capped pack, you know, we'll try and scrum you. And I actually thought the scrums were very competitive for most of the game. Ironically, the Sigma Lions' second front row, the starting front row, who are often the replacements, actually held up a lot better than the replacement front row did. So they actually did very well to sort of stem the flow. And Ali Price eventually went over again for the British Irish Lions in the 32nd minute to make it 21-0. But then a brilliant breakdown the blind side from Lions captain Frankie Horn. Got it away to Burger Uenda, who was very composed. EW for Yun then saw a bit of space. He went out to Vincent Tsuka, who I thought he was fantastic today. He went over for the first try of the match. And the Lions had hit back, and it was a good conversion there. But then, so at half-time, you know, at 21-7, I'm thinking, well, you know, if you can score another try and make this competitive, but it was the worst possible start. Off a line-up move, Josh Adams went over in the 41st minute. It was just too easy at the end of the day. There was so much space the entire game out wide for the Lions. And that's why Josh Adams has 4 tries to his name. You know, but we replied quickly, and Ras McLaren went over in the 43rd minute. Once again, Frankie Horn was the mastermind behind it. Burger Uendal and himself combining once again, as they did for the first try. This time, Frankie Horn hitting a gap, drawing in Stuart Hogg and getting it away to Ras McLaren, who this time had the opportunity to say to Rees-Zammit, or see you later. He went over in the 43rd minute. But in the 54th minute, Josh Adams crossed the white. And that's where the issues almost came, as the Lions then put on their reserve front row in the 56th minute. And Ivan van Rooyen, I think, was hoping for a nice big difference with the front row, with their reserve front row. But unfortunately, as you could almost imagine, the first thing Warren Gatland did when he saw that front row got on was to put in his props in Xander Ferguson and Marco Vinopola. And unfortunately for the Sigma Lions, they didn't really manage to make that impact. Gareth Davies then went over the 65th minute. Dan Creel guilty of not tackling his man, creating a bit of space and now an offload. And after that, it was just far too easy. Josh Adams went in for 2 more tries, and they were very easy. You know, he had so much space out wide, so it was very easy. So I mean, 56 points to 14. So we can all throw the baby out with the cotton. We can lose our mind, stuff like that. But let's just sort of dig a little bit deeper. And what do we learn from this game? And I think what we learned is that there are some good players in the Sigma Lions, but they are such a young side, and there's just not enough quality players who are sort of in their prime who can really come and guide them. But you know what? They held their own for a lot of the game, and if it wasn't for some bad one-time tackling, I think 2 or 3 tries were really, really poor. So I think, and poor in the sense of it's not even about them being test match players. You shouldn't be conceding those tries anyway. So if you don't concede those tries and you take away, 15 points and you get it down to 40-14 or 35-14, that's an almost respectable score given the gulf in quality. But there were just some poor mistakes, and I think that's what the most disappointing thing is. If we look at the stats, it was 48% possession for the Sigma Lions, 52, thanks to a big second half effort from the British and Irish Lions. They just sort of put the sword to them in the last 20 minutes. They scored 8 tries today compared to 2. 507 meters run. I mean, they were running right. There's no other way of saying it. They were running right, and it was very easy for them. 33 defenders beaten, 9 clean breaks, 169 passes. I mean, they were passing from left to right, right to left. They were going through their hands a lot of offloads, a lot of little quick pops, trying to get their sort of forwards into some space and stuff like that. 29 kicks from hand, getting paid to 31. But this is the issue here for the British. I mean, for the Sigma Lions, 66 out of 110 tackles made. The British and Irish Lions were asked to make a lot more tackles, and they made a lot more tackles. They were operating at a tackle success rate of 90%, whereas the Sigma Lions was 69%. The lineouts were 80% for the Sigma Lions, 96% for the British and Irish Lions. Mario Toje stealing 2 lineouts. Thought he was actually pretty good today. 83% scrum success for the Sigma Lions, 100% scrum success for the British and Irish Lions. Penalties conceded, 14 by the Sigma Lions, 12 by the British and Irish Lions. There were almost 2 yellow cards. They looked at a clean out against Ruben Schoeman in the first half from Courtney Lords, and then a clean out against Morne van den Berg by Sam Simmons in the second half, but AJ Jacobs kept those cards in his pocket. So if we look at Josh Adams, 4 tries, what a game from him. He made 5 clean breaks, made all the one tackle he had to make, but 64 meters run, 6 defenders beaten, 5 clean breaks, 1 offload. Finn Russell was a bit of a conductor in the midfield. I thought Chris Harris had quite a good game. He made 59 meters, 6 passes, 1 offload, 1 try assist, 10 tackles. Hamish Washington was characteristically the go-to man in the defense. 16 tackles, not 1 missed. He also made 24 meters across 7 carries, beating 3 defenders and 1 clean break. Courtney Lawson was used as a ball carrier a lot, 9 carries from him, as well as 12 carries. And they were trying to bully the Sigma Lions, which is always going to be a good tactic, given the fact that it's a very young side. Carl Sinclair was pretty solid, 5 carries from him, 12 tackles as well. For the Sigma Lions, though, I thought Raz Bakwana had limited opportunity, but when he did, he ran 45 meters, 1 defender beaten, 1 pass. Berger Oendal grew into the game. I thought 48 meters from him, 1 defender beaten, 6 tackled, 2 missed. But the players that I'd like to just single out are Frankie Horn and Vincent Tutuka. 22 years old, and you play like that. Those 2 players are destined to play for the Boks. Vincent Tutuka especially. 9 carries. He made 13 tackles. He scored a try. He was just relentless. He was dead on his feet by the end, because he really did give it his all. And Captain Frankie Horn, captaining the side, 22 years old, against the quality he played. And 4 carries from him, 41 meters gained, 4 defenders beaten, 2 clean breaks, 1 try assist. He also made 6 tackles, missing just 1. Ruben Schoeman, usually the enforcer for the Lions, he made 10 carries as well as 6 tackles, missed 4 tackles though, so that's a bit of an area of concern for him. Sibusiso Sangweni almost capped off a brilliant try when he made the break. Fantastic covering tackle from Stuart Hogg, presented it. He made 76 meters across his 6 carries, 1 pass, 1 defender beater, 1 clean break. He also made 11 tackles, missing just the 2. Manuel Russ was quite active in the defense, made 8 tackles there. And that was kind of really it for the Lions. Weren't too many standout performances. As I said, I think the front row was pretty impressive, deserve a lot of accolades, the starting front row for the Sigma Lions. But for the British and Irish Lions, the perfect start. 4 tries for Josh Adams. You got to think he's got to be in that starting test side. They move on. Well, they don't really move away, but they move on to the Sharks on Wednesday. Sharks will be hoping to put in a much better performance. And for the Sigma Lions, well, if anything, hopefully they've given the best of South Africa 80 minutes of knowledge to try and analyze and try and see how the British and Irish Lions try and play this really quick, high-tempo type rugby. And so the rest of the South African sides can learn from that and try and sort of counter it. But for the Sigma Lions, they were unfortunately on the end of a bit of a hiding. They'll go back to the drawing board and get back to their Currie Cup. For the British and Irish Lions, it's all eyes on Wednesday. They've got the Sharks on Wednesday before the Bulls on Saturday. We'll be live for all those games. Come hang out, smash like with the video, subscribe to the channel. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you guys soon.